Hello again and welcome back to another scary episode of March Payne's Midlife Dolly Crisis. And today we are going to be opening a very creepy doll indeed. In fact, you might not want to watch because she's so scary. And it is... Ooh... Miss Lagoona Blue from Monster High. So she is from the Core Refresh line, which came out basically as kind of like a refresh of the original Core dolls. What they seem to do with these sort of Core Refresh dolls was kind of take them back to how they kind of originally wanted them to look. If you look at the prototype sort of dolls that they did and look at these, there's loads of similarities, and they wanted to make them a bit darker and a bit sort of edgier. I mean, this isn't really cutting it, really, you know, in that kind of way. Obviously, she's very she's bright pink for one thing, and you know, she's not particularly creepy or scary. But with some of the others, they do have a lot darker makeup on their faces, which I do quite like. So look, please join me as I unbox Miss Lagoona, and we'll have a look and see what we think of her. So here is Lagoona Blue in her box. So the boxes are pretty much all the same. The doll is basically front and centre. We then have all the kind of accessories on this side. We've got the kind of logo down on this side, and then at the bottom here we've got an image of the doll with two other characters, and Lagoona is there pictured with Frankie on one side and Claudine on the other. If we turn this to the side, so we've then got these sort of images here, and these are more kind of relating to the character that you've got. So they're all sort of like sea-based, and there's, you know, there's an oyster shell, and there's a sort of scaly hand and a scaly heart and stuff like that. Because obviously that relates to Lagoona, who is an undersea creature, of course. And then if we go to the back of the box there, so we've got an image of the doll that you've got in the box here. So that's Lagoona, and then we've got the other four dolls over on this side. Obviously, Frankie, Claudine, Cleo, and Draculaura. And as I mentioned earlier, these are from the Core Refresh line. There's a bit of information, obviously, down on here. Monster type, beautiful bubbly sea monster, monster must-haves, sparkling salt water, and fish ice cream, you see? So, yes, very scary stuff there. So, all that's left to do now is crack her open and... Well, not crack her open. Crack the box open, I should say. And get all the stuff out, and we'll have a closer look at her. So, before we look at Lagoona herself, let's have a look at the accessories that she comes with. She does come with quite a few little bits, some of which I think probably would end up getting lost quite quickly, especially if, you know, a child was playing with them. However, it is kind of nice to have stuff with her. I just kind of question some of it in that she can't hold it, I wouldn't have thought. Okay, so first up, I've got these three items here. Now, one of these, which is this kind of lollipop thing, which is in the shape of, and I hope you can see it, it's kind of like a pufferfish shape. It's kind of weird. It does have one of these things, which means you can put it on her hand. It's kind of cute, I guess, but yeah, it's the kind of the smallest piece that she comes with. So I'm guessing that probably in the grand scheme of things, this could quite easily get lost really as soon as you open her. We've then got this, which is a can of drink, and on it says Bubble Booze, which I don't really know what that means. The outside is basically just kind of like a sticker that's been stuck on, and kind of the inner bit is plastic. On the top of it there is a detail of how you can sort of open the can, but yeah, she can't hold this unfortunately, unless you're going to put some of the sticky tack in her hand and then stick this to it. There's no sort of nodule thing like this one has got on it that she could put her hand through. So that is the can of drink. We've then got this, which is a cute book. It's, I think, a journal, but again, There's nothing for her to sort of grip or anything. So again, it's probably one of these things that can probably go into her bag and then not really get looked at again. It's a shame. There's quite a lot of details printed on it. It says Monster High, then it's got Lagoona Blue, and then it's got other writing on it which I can't quite read. You can probably read it actually better than I can from there. But yeah, as I say, it's kind of cute. It doesn't open or anything. I know that some of the dolls have had books that do sort of open. It's a nice enough prop, and you might be able to get it under her arm or something, but again, there's nothing for her to really sort of grip hold of with that. So that's the book. There is then these three things. So we've got a pair of glasses here. They're quite a thin pair. They're kind of this orange sort of plastic material. There are sort of tentacles, a sort of embellishment just around the lens there on either side. They're quite thin, so I'm not really sure how they're going to be protecting her eyes. It might have been nice if she'd come with goggles maybe, seeing as she's meant to be an underwater creature. But I guess they're okay. They are, I think, sort of see-through, so I guess we'll see once we put them on her whether we can see her eyes through them or not. So that's the glasses. We've then got this, which I don't really know why they insist on giving us these things. This says gummy bites on it, and it looks like sort of worms. There's quite a lot of detail on this item, but again, she can't really hold it, and it could probably fit in the bag maybe, but I would see this as getting lost as well, really. Only because if she can't hold it, then it'll probably just get left somewhere, or, you know, it'll be at the bottom of the toy box or whatever. But it'll probably just get forgotten, really. It's a shame, because it is kind of nice that they've spent this much time and money to have this produced and put loads of detail on it, which is actually quite nice. But, yeah, it might be a nice sort of prop for photos. And again, if you were to use some of those sort of, that sticky tack stuff, you could probably get this in a hand. But other than that, it's a little bit pointless. And then we've got this, which is, I guess, like sort of like an ice cream cone, but the cone is in the shape of a fish, which is obviously because she is a bit fishy herself. This does have one of those sort of ring things on that she can put her finger through and hold it, which is kind of good. So that is that. We've then got this fish, who I actually think is very cute. And there are actual nice details on them. So the body of the fish is sort of pink, and there are some painted on details on the eyes, and I think there's kind of scales just over the eyes as well. There's a little mouth there. There's also other details which are on it which are quite nice. Obviously got more scales here, but then we've got these kind of see-through plastic parts as well, which I think kind of really do kind of elevate it a bit. So we've got this sort of lovely sort of pretty tail. We've got a fin at the top there, and we've also got two fins on either side as well, so that's quite cute. It kind of looks like it's going to be kissing her or something, just because of the way it's sort of pursing its mouth. I can't remember the name of the fish, but I will put it on screen just so we all know. So that's the pet. And then lastly we've got this bag, which is kind of like a jellyfish. It's kind of nicely done. It does have a sort of a face on it, which I don't know if you can see. At first I thought this was meant to be the mouth, but this is actually meant to be a pocket. And it's got two eyes, and then I think that is the mouth. That's either the mouth or the nose. But I would imagine it probably doesn't really have a nose. I don't know. But yeah, so it's see-through. It's sort of blue plastic. It's a little bit softer. You can probably get it over her if you want to put it on her. There is a slit in the top where you can put some of the accessories as well, and you'll be able to see them inside. Like I say, there is this sort of pocket detail sculpted in the front. We've got this sort of fishbone charm thing hanging from the front as well. And we've also got these sort of tentacles as well. And there's sort of an ombre effect with them in that they turn from blue to pink at the end. So that's quite cute. So that is the bag. Let's have a look now at the doll herself. So here is Lagoona. She kind of looks like she's full of details, to be honest, which is quite nice. As I say, I've never had a Lagoona before. I have to be honest, when I saw the G1 version of Lagoona, I did really like her because she seemed to be a bit sort of retro. There was something a bit sort of 50s and a bit sort of Hollywood glam about her. So I don't know if it was maybe just the version that I saw, but I kind of like that. And also her skin was a different colour. She's now bright pink. I think before that she was kind of like a green colour, but now I think they're using the green colour for other characters, so they probably didn't want to get confused with them, which is a bit of a shame, seeing as she's one of the core dolls at least. Because I think Frankie was also green. Maybe she was blue before. Maybe, yeah, maybe her skin was blue, and now they're using the blue for Frankie instead of the green. I don't know. Anyway, look, let's have a look at her, because this is the doll that we're concentrating on. We'll go from the top down. So, she's got this really cute face with lots of sort of nice details on it. She does have these kind of like scales on her forehead, and she has freckles over her cheeks and over her nose there. She does have some blue details. So her eyebrows are blue. She's also got blue makeup. She's got sort of green and brown eyes, and her lipstick is sort of like a coral pink. It might have been nice if they'd given her a darker lipstick, I think, because it would have gone quite well with the other sort of core refresh dolls, who all seem to have sort of quite sort of gothy looks almost. But no, they've given her just sort of pink lip. If we have a look at the hair, her main colour is yellow. And it is very yellow. It's kind of like lemon yellow. But there are other colours through it. So we've got a purple streak, and we've got a green streak. We've got obviously the space buns at the top, which is quite a cute style. We've then got these sort of tendrils coming off. So the majority of the hair at the back is very soft and very nice, and there's no product in that. However, there is product in these bits here, and I think these are the only bits that have them. This you could probably wash out if you wanted, or give it a brush, just so it's not like two stiff things on either side of her face, really. That said, she does look very nice. I think I was worried about the hair, because I have seen some pictures and the hair looks really messy. But the fact that it's soft and it doesn't have loads of product in it, I think is really nice. So, yeah, so that is the hair. She's got these interesting ears, which I guess are meant to look like gills or fins. Obviously they're the same on both sides of her face. We've got some earrings. So these are sort of clear and white, and they look like fish bones. They're the same in both ears. These ones can be removed. It's kind of interesting that the earrings on these dolls can be removed, and they are by Mattel, yet most of Barbie's earrings can't come out, and they're also by Mattel. So I don't really know what's the difference there, really. I'm not too sure. Around her neck, she's got a orange sort of beads, sort of two rows of beads, and then she's got a seahorse pendant hanging from it. Underneath that, she's got this really cute top. So it's sort of shocking pink on the main body, and again we've got a fish bone motif. We've also got sort of black drips coming down it. We've also got some net, which is really nice. It's kind of a shame that the net sleeves didn't go all the way down, but I guess because she's got this kind of fin effect on her lower arms and scales, you know, it would have been a bit difficult to do that and have that as well. She's also got net around her neck as well. Her pink skin has kind of got a sort of a shiny, almost pearlescent quality about it, which I don't know if it's intentional or just because it is this kind of pinky colour. But it's quite nice, especially as she's supposed to be, as I say, like a sort of sea creature. So around her waist, we've got this pink belt. So there's obviously lots of sort of sculpted detail on there, but none of it is painted. And it's kind of like a sort of a pink see-through jelly kind of plastic, which I'd imagine a child would really love to chew on. So that's great. And then if we go further down, we've got these amazing trousers. So they start off at the top, almost looking like sort of cargo pants or jeans. And then as we go further down, we've got these sort of little pocket details on them. And are they working pockets? Actually, yes. Yeah, you could put something in there because it does open. I'm not sure what you'd put in. Maybe one of the snacks. Actually, do they both open? Yes, they do actually both open, so you could use them. We've then got these sort of pink ribbons both coming off from both sides, which is quite nice detail. We've then got this sort of netting material again, so this sort of goes with the top, so it kind of echoes back to that. And then at the bottom we've got these amazing sort of see-through pattern, sort of bell bottoms almost. The trousers I think are really nice. I do like them. The only thing I would say is, however lovely they are, and I really love the material they've used on here with all the different sort of patterns swirling around, it does detract slightly from the fact that they've gone to the trouble to give her these amazing ombre legs. So it goes from the top, we start off pink, and then they go to blue, and she's got these blue fins on the side of her calf there. I do find them really interesting, the legs, and I believe that they've actually stopped doing this now. And when you buy new Lagoonas, they basically have, from the knee down, this is all blue rather than this whole fade. I think because they found that this part here gets kind of scratched and things, so you know the paint doesn't sort of stay on it, and obviously it's a bit of a shame. So they've basically gone for the more child-friendly option, I suppose, of just making the whole leg from the knee down this kind of see-through blue plastic rather than having the ombre. Obviously these themselves are kind of see-through, but you can't necessarily see what is behind it. It's kind of just obscured a bit rather than being able to see the actual legs. And then if we go further down, we have got a pair of trainers or sneakers, whatever you want to call them. Well, actually they're kind of boots as well. So these are kind of a very sort of pearlescent white plastic with lots of details on there. There's sort of straps and I think kind of scale effect and stuff like that, and stitching as well. And then we've got this sort of very pink sole on the bottom, again with lots of sort of sculpted in detail, but nothing else painted, just the pink sole. I think the shoes are kind of nice, and obviously they do kind of go with the look in that they've got that sort of underwater pearlescent quality about them. They also kind of match the earrings, and the pink obviously goes with the other things that she's got on. I mean, they are meant to be sort of high school students rather than, you know, models or people that have been sort of overly styled. So I do kind of like the fact that she does look a bit sort of less put together and more sort of like actually, you know, something that a student would actually wear. So I am now going to get her accessories and get her set up, and we'll have a final look at her. So here's Lagoona in her full regalia. I put the glasses on, but they seem a bit wonky. I think maybe they've got a bit sort of bent up when they were in the packaging. So I might have to just heat them up a little bit and try and straighten them out. They're kind of okay. They do actually cover her eyes, which I wasn't really expecting because they didn't seem like they were going to be sort of wide enough for that. I'm pretty much happy with her. As I mentioned earlier, I had wanted to get a Lagoona for a while, but I didn't really know which one to get. So when I saw this one, I kind of thought that she was probably the closest to what I was going to get to what I wanted. So that was really why I got her. I wish that she'd come with maybe some sort of jacket or something, seeing as most of the others actually come with an extra clothing piece. So it would have been nice to have seen her with, you know, an extra one as well. What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments below. Is Lagoona one of your favourites? I can see why kids would like her because she's so, you know, colourful, which might sort of make her quite different to the other characters who all seem to have very sort of distinct sort of colours that they always wear. Whereas with this one, it feels like she's a bit more of a sort of a mishmash. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And please feel free to share the video if you know anyone else that like this kind of content. And I will see you in the next video as we get closer and closer to the spookiest season of all, Halloween, if you weren't aware. So until then, take care. Bye.